Rolling. Okay, so I decided to do more so like a motivational story time while I'm here. The camera's up. Why not? But first and foremost, welcome back to my channel. I am Ming Lee, and if you are new here, please subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. This is a story time. It's gonna be a story about story. I kind of like told it on my Instagram live earlier, and so I'm like, let me just, talk about my pregnancy. And I don't know if I want to actually retell that story, or should I talk about postpartum? Because let's be very, very, very clear. Postpartum is real. Postpartum is real, and if you've never had a child, I don't even think you can comment on the subject matter, because until you've had a child, I mean, for all the moms and people that actually went through postpartum depression after having their child, which I went through it really bad. I remember it was days that I couldn't even get out of the bed, and it was days that I didn't care about my business. It was fuck snob like. It was like, I don't give a, like, I didn't care about nothing. It was days that I would get up and taking a shower and putting on sweatpants and a top was exhausting. Like, I was exhausted. And like, I know it sounds so crazy, like to a person who's never had a child, or even a person who's never been through this type of depression. But if you have, then you completely understand where I'm coming from. Like, anybody who's overcome depression who bootstrap themselves out of that dark and lonely and scary place. I absolutely commend you. Like, I don't think people understand and give enough credit of how much it takes to actually get to the other side, and how much it actually even takes to even realize, like, hey, this is depression, or hey, I do need to talk to somebody. Like, I did have a psychologist. I went to a therapist. And the therapist, like, as I started to come to the other side, she told me one day, she was like, I am so happy that you are progressing. Like, your progress is so good. Because she was like, in a minute, I was gonna have to send you to a different doctor to prescribe you some medicine, because she was like, I thought you were so far gone that I was gonna have to try to figure out how to get you some antidepressants. And so me pulling myself out of that and me realizing, okay, I mean, you have a daughter. Like, you gotta get your shit together. Like, this is the worst time to be in this situation, right? And so, like, I just want to say, like, how, like, I think people always talk about the depression, the postpartum depression. Like, my had the worst pregnancy that a person could imagine.
Can't wait to meet her.
I mean, I take that back. I can't say I had the worst pregnancy, because I did end up with a beautiful, healthy baby girl. But my pregnancy, I was in a hospital, as some of you know, for 91 days. My child father was treating me like the scum of the earth. You would have thought I tricked him into this. You would have never, the way that he was treating me, you would have never thought that I did IVF and spent upward of $150,000 to get pregnant. Like, you couldn't have told a soul, none of my friends, that this was like a planned pregnancy. Crazy. Like, I mean, like, the crazy. Like, I'm talking about, like, that's a whole nother story about how I got treated when I was being pregnant. And I can go story for story for story, but I would need a whole nother story time. But anyway, how did I get out of the postpartum depression, and how did I like recognize, like, okay, my first thing was like, okay, this is not normal. Like, I need to go talk to somebody. I need to go talk to an unbiased person about what I'm feeling, what I'm going through, why. And so, like, I got a therapist. I started seeing a therapist every single week. And I always tell people, like, it's baby steps. It's not something like you just wake up one day and overcome. You know what I mean? It was baby steps, and it was the small wins that I always counted. And so I started going in counseling. Probably, I started going in counseling. I'm like going in counseling, but mind you, I have my daughter. I have a nanny around the clock. The nanny is taking care of Story and me because, you know, I'm completely out of it in the bed, sleeping all day, crying, like, oh my God, having major meltdowns. I was not myself. That was 2000 and the end of 18 and all of 19. I don't even know who that lady was. She was not me. We were not the same person. I was literally having an out-of-body experience. And it's okay. I was actually afraid to even to get help, like a therapist. Like, I don't need no therapist. Like, like, you know what I mean? Like, at first I'm like, that's, but then I'm like, you know, you do need to talk to somebody. You do need to overcome this. Like, you are bigger than this. Like, you know what I mean? You need help. So I started therapy, which was one of the best decisions I ever made. And I think that we need to normalize therapy, and especially inside the Black community and amongst moms. Like, we need to normalize it. It's okay to have a therapist. It's okay to sit on somebody's couch. It's okay to, you know what I mean, fight your demons, to address your past traumas. It's okay, because after I had my child and I was going through postpartum and going through therapy, like, I realized I had more. I had it was layers to my shit. Like, I had childhood traumas, abandonment issues from being adopted. It was a lot of stuff that I had been through over the years of my life that I had, like, stored in the back of my mind, or like, I made it was okay. There were so many childhood traumas that I needed to address that all came to the forefront once I had my child. So not only was I dealing with going through a breakup with my child's father, being a new mom, and then now all of my childhood traumas and experiences, now I'm dealing with that. It was crazy, but I'm getting through it. So one day, you know, the nanny comes to, I use Nanny Q. She's amazing. She comes, and, like, you know, my daughter loves her. She's taking care of me and my daughter. And one day, I'm like, I gotta change. Like, you know what I mean? People always say, how did you get over depression? I said, first therapy. And then second, I decided to do small wins. So I was like, okay. One day I'm like, all right, Ming, you just sitting in the house dwelling on the past, right? And I have a problem with that, to dwell on the past, and why I say it's a problem, because you cannot change not one thing that's already happened, right? So I would be replaying all this trauma, all this shit in my mind, because, you know, an idle mind is a devil's playground. So I'm like, all right, man, this is your last. This was like the end of September, like kind of like towards right after my birthday. I'm like, this is your last month having a nanny. I said, Story finna go to school because she needs to learn people skills and peer skills and be around other people, so that, other kids her age, so that'll be amazing for her. But you need a routine. You need a reason to get out this house. And I knew it was only one person that could make me do anything, and that was my daughter. So I'm like, okay, this is your last month on with the nanny. You need to find her at school because you need to go back to work. You got to take your ass back to work. So I'm like, okay, so I found a school for Story to go to. So I said, starting October the 1st, when you drop Story off at school, you are not allowed to go back home until you pick her up. So you need to find, mind y'all, I had an office. I've been at my office for 5 years now. Nobody, I'm just paying rent at the office. Like, I'm not going to the office. Nobody's working in the office. I said, you need to take your ass to work. You need to get you a team. You need to take your ass to work. I was like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. When I drop Story off, this was my rule. When I drop Story off at school, I cannot go back home. You got to go to the office. And so every day, the first week I would go to the office, I would just be sitting around, playing on Instagram, watching YouTube, getting a little bit of work done. The second week, I banned watching YouTube and Instagram. Like, I had to leave my phone in my purse. And I'm like, I need to work. There's something to be done. I'm like, it's Black Friday. I don't even have a Black Friday campaign. I don't even have nobody to help me. I'm like, you need to get you a team. Like, you gotta, like, it's shit that you gotta do. Like, it's shit that, like, you need to, like. And so, like, every day, I called my team, like, you know what I mean, the girls that's helped me before, like, hey, can y'all start coming into the office? Let's really do this shit. Like, you know, like I always tell people, like, God already gave you the play. The plan, all you got to do is run the play. I'm like, I got the plan. I already know what I need to do. So I'm like, every single day I'm dropping Story off at school. Every single day I'm going to my office planning. So now it's October. I'm like, damn, I only got 4 weeks until Black Friday. I need to come up with a concept. I need to find me a graphics person. I need to make sure my inventory is straight. Like, I need to get my shit together because you the GOAT. Like, and that's how I talk to myself. Like, I'm the shit at anything that I do. And I don't want nobody ever. If you don't get nothing from this video, it's okay to be the shit at whatever you do. Like, be very unapologetic at your greatness and for your greatness. I'm like, you the shit, man. Like, you can do this. You've been doing this. You've been doing this shit longer than damn near anybody that's been doing it. Like, you the blueprint. You the shit. You the GOAT. Put this shit together. This is how I'm talking to myself. So every day I started going to work. So, like, you know, I started adding up my small wins. Like, my first small win was not going home. That doesn't seem big or major to somebody, but if you ever been in depression or had postpartum depression, you know, getting out the house is a win. You know, putting your clothes on, makeup and hair, that's a win. Like, you know, unless you've ever been through depression, you wouldn't understand it. But if you've ever been there, oh, baby, you know when you then look like this, oh, this is probably one of the biggest wins that you done ever had, all, you know what I mean, in a while. So I started being appreciative for my small wins. I was very proud that I had told myself I was not going home, and I stuck to it, to where I was proud that I, you know, asked for help and allowed people to, like, help me with my campaign, help me get my shit back on track, because I'm like a superwoman. Like, I think I can do everything myself. So I was even proud of the fact that I was willing to allow some people to help me. And then I will say, like, and that was in 2019 Black Friday, all the way up to that thing, I tripled my numbers that Black Friday. I had never did that much in sales. And that was like, wow, like when I put my mind to anything, I can fucking do it. And it just like made me realize, like, God already gave you the play. Like, he already gave you the play. You already know what to do. And so, like, every time I put myself first and every time I did what I said I was going to do, I never lost. Not one time. Like, I'm undefeated. And so, like, I had the biggest Black Friday ever. And I'm like, oh, shit, I'm back. I'm back, baby. Like, I'm unfuckwittable. Like, and I don't know. Like, that's kind of like how I talk to myself in third person. Like, let's go, baby. And so, like, that win on Black Friday and just, like, being back in my element, being back in my normalcy of, like, my business, and like now I'm going to work every day. Like you know what I mean? I'm flourishing as a mom. Like I had finally left her dad. I'm happy my daughter get to see me happy and lively, not in a bed like I'm sick, because I was not sick. Well, I was sick mentally, but I was not sick physically. Like she can see me flourish and be happy and smile as a mom. Like, oh my God, I'm gonna cry. Oh my God. It was just amazing to progress out of being depressed. And then 2020 comes, and now I'm like, okay, I'm outside. And what a lot of people don't realize is that like my campaigns in 2020 was in December, after Black Friday, December 2019. I flew my whole team to LA and we shot a bunch of content. And the premise behind the content was I'm back outside, like I'm newly single, because I didn't date nobody none 2019. I wasn't even mentally, I don't even know where the fuck I was at in 2019. Like, who was I? Where was I? What was I? I actually need to go look at, I need to pull up some pictures from 2019, because I don't even know what the fuck I was doing. Like, it's such a blur. It's such a very dark, closed off time in my life. I don't even know what I was doing. I was in the bed, sleep. But December, after Black Friday, I caught that big win. I was like, oh, I'm back. So 2019, I flew my whole team out. We went to LA to kind of like work, retreat, clear our minds, get some content. And so like I remember sitting there like talking to my team. It's like, what you want to do for Valentine's Day? I was like, well, I want to get paid. They was like, what? I'm like, I want to get paid. I said, I want to get paid. Like, I think like Beyonce made Lemonade. Let's go outside. They was like, what? I was like, I want to get paid for my heartbreak. I need $2 million from getting my heartbreak. They was like, what? I said, yeah, I need $2 million. At least, minimum, bare minimum from my heartbreak. So let's do some, like, the best form of art is when it imitates life. Run that shit. Leave them on red, outside. Like, so many girls that has been through what I've been through, went through a breakup. It shatters your my whole entire self-confidence was shattered. I'm getting a little embarrassed to even talk about how low, because that was the lowest I had ever been. How low I was. But I can't say that I was like, yo, I need $2 million up out of this, right? Yeah, I need to make some money. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so let's reenact and loosely base a lot of my campaigns around not only just this relationship, but all of my relationships, because all of this shit, all of these men did some fuck shit, some fuck boy shit. Like, let's just wrap it all up. That was the birth of the fuckboy repellent, which is rose water, which I use on my face to set my makeup, to replenish my skin whenever I travel alone. Like, I always have rose water in my bag. So I was like, well, let's turn that into fuckboy repellent. Like, my girls need to repel from these fuckboys. And I was just like, you know, like, and then I was like, oh, I like micellar water to take off my makeup. Like, I live by it. So I was like, what if we made it out of boy tears? And like, you know, I always say like no boys is harmed in the making of boy tears, but it's a makeup remover. And so like, I'm like, I need products, campaigns. Like, I need to make some fucking money off of getting my heart broke. Like, Beyonce ain't the only one. She made Lemonade. She made a bankroll, one of my favorite albums, maybe because I can relate to all that fuck shit. But, you know, art imitate art. You get your bag off of your life experiences. Like, Drake can talk about all his relationships and make money off of it. Why can't Ming? Like, shit, Beyonce made Lemonade. Why Ming can't go outside and leave these niggas on red? And that's what the fuck I did. And so, like, 2020 came. And you're like, I'm dropping campaigns. Like, I was one of the first people to ads if not the first people to add a playlist to when you launching a campaign or a sale. And I've seen so many other brands do it after me, which I think is amazing. But it was just like, I was in my bag. Like, I was unfuckwittable. But like, to see me come out of that depression, and to me to look back and to look at the girl in 2018 and 19 who put up with so much disrespect and who was just like not mentally, didn't have any mental strength, who was going through depression, who was like, you know, like the embarrassment of becoming a single parent, I think wavered over my head so much. Like, I think like, I'm like, you mean to tell me that I did IVF, planned it, flew to Utah, went to all these surgeries, stuck myself with all these needles, and I'm still gonna be a single parent? Like, I went through every precaution that you possibly could, and I'm still a single parent? Like, I'm still not going to raise my child in a two-family home, which everybody knows that was like one of my biggest things that I really wanted. I was like embarrassed. But then I realized, like, what's more important? Raising your child in a two-family household or raising your child healthy and happy? Like, would you rather her be in a two-family household and you be miserable and her never see you happy and healthy? Or would you just rather her see you happy and healthy and know that she has, you know, two households? Now, granted, when I say a single parent, I don't want people to think like her dad is impressive, because Story, I did pick, that's one thing I did do right, is pick an amazing father for Story. And even though like our relationship didn't work out, and even though I have my own personal feelings towards him as a person, which is, he's a great ass dad. Like, he's a bomb father to Story. He shows up for Story in every aspect that I could ever ask for. So I can't say that. I mean, I have a few things he could work on, but overall, he's an amazing dad to Story. Story love him to death. That's her favorite person. So, but yeah, your girl was. I was down a dark alley so far that I couldn't even see the top. I couldn't even, like, I couldn't even see me overcoming it. Like, as much as I look back and as much as I would think, I can't even see it. Like, that's crazy. And to see me where I am now, healthy and striving, and like, that was like the best thing I ever done, was appreciate and count my small wins. And so, like, anybody that's going through postpartum depression, I highly recommend you go see a therapist and get a third unbiased opinion to talk through, and so you can try to pull yourself out of it, and to count the small wins. Like, I know, and it doesn't happen overnight. Like, you're not going to just wake up and miraculously be just completely over it. It does take time, and give yourself grace. And that's one of the things that I had to learn, was just to give myself grace and to appreciate the small wins. And so, like, I'll do another video that got more in detail about like what happened in my postpartum. But this video, I want to talk about going through the postpartum and how I eventually came back. And 2020 was my biggest financial year for my company. Like, I was stronger than ever after that postpartum. So I don't want you to think like, just because you go through postpartum or you hit a rut or you have a bad year or you have a bad 2 years, like Gary Vee said, like, sometimes you have not just bad days, you have bad years. That there is light at the end of the tunnel, and like, I came out on top and I fought my way, you know, from the bottom, and I was here, and then I went here, and then, you know what I mean, I went back up, and it's okay. And I had to realize, like, you know, like, you don't win every year. I would like to, but sometimes it just doesn't work that way. And but you just never give up. And that's something I do love about myself, is that I just never gave up. And I fought my way out of that shit. Like, I fought like hell. And then if anybody's come out of depression, postpartum, or any form of depression, and you know, you see light at the end of the tunnel, or you've crossed the to the other side, pat yourself on the back, because this is some hard shit to do. Like, it's some really hard shit to do. And so if you've done that, you should be very proud, because I'm very proud of myself, and I'm very proud of my growth. I'm very proud of who I am today. I'm very proud that I can look back at the situation and be like, wow, I did that. Like, I be looking back like, damn, you did that. Like, you really did that. Like, you did that. So, yeah. I will list below, I'm going to list below like some hotlines if you guys need to speak to somebody. I'll list some therapists. I'll try to get some therapists for you guys if you guys want to call a hotline or something, because I do know depression is a very serious thing, and mental health is also a very serious thing. And I think people don't take it as serious and like kind of like brush over it, when it's the most important thing of your life is your mental health. So let's take care of ourselves and give ourselves some grace. Until next time, if you like this video, if you would like to hear more about my life or these type of videos, let me know what you guys want me to talk about. I do want to start back doing story time, so I have a few story times on my channel. But if you guys would like more story times about different topics, I tell this all the time that I've been at every step of the life ladder, and I'm no greater or bigger or more perfect than you. Like, I'm actually the most imperfect person I know. So until next time, I love you guys. Thanks for watching.